to do subathons,
Now let's
and
just
it was
start it.
most. What's poppin'? What's poppin'?
Our stream of the decade explains why Subathons are trash now. Let's get it.
Y'all. A couple of days ago, I made a video about how I felt like Kai Cenat, quote unquote, ruined the subathon, which was a simple take where I was saying that people didn't used to have legitimate goals for the subathon. Like, they would have certain tiered goals, but there was a bit of a reluctance from bigger streamers to do subathons, and it was more so encouraged by their viewers. However, XQC, who won Streamer of the Decade, he got into another aspect of
Wait,
subathons.
Chad, how long has XQC been streaming for? I just learned of XQC, I think, earlier this year. I'm just being honest. I never knew XQC was. I never followed his content. I just know he's one of the richest streamers to stream. Cause I remember when he was fighting with Kaisnet, going band for band. Then he said that he has AMP's whole um net worth on a stick pegged out somewhere that he even forgot. Imagine having a lot of money in a what is it, a stick, then you throw it somewhere you don't even know where it is. You must be rich. Plus I know it's liquid money. But yeah. That's all I remember of SQC.
That totally escaped my mind and paints a bigger picture of what's going on. And this all started thanks to Charlie Moist Critical Penguin Zero showing the revenue that he made on Twitch. And people questioned, because initially he had cut off subs, I think, and donations, and was like, hey, I don't want any of your money on Twitch. And people were saying, oh, yo, what's up with that? So he showed his entire revenue on Twitch, and then even decided to show his entire revenue on YouTube. And I didn't think that he was going to show the YouTube revenue, but he did. And I made a whole video reacting to that situation. You should be able to check it out in the pinned comment if I remember to leave it, which is quite unlikely. But XQC got into why the current form of subathons just really isn't real and doesn't hit the same. And I've also got an example of the effects of a subathon on a smaller.
I feel like the reason why Subathons don't hit more is because now it looks like people are. I know if I bring this up, it's going to look like I'm throwing shots at Kai. I'm not. I'm not. It's just what's going on right now. It's not even Kai. I feel like people only look at Kai because Kai is the biggest streamer right now. So what he does, everyone knows. But this is most streamers. People now beg. It's like people beg for subs now. Back then, I think people were just doing subathons. People just used to sub out of their own will. Now, if you actually look forward to people giving you subs, I feel like it destroys the whole point of streaming. You feel me? Yeah, but that's just my take. Not saying Kai does that. Kai hit 1 million subs. He has achieved one of the biggest milestones on Twitch right now. He is, in fact, the biggest streamer of all time on Twitch. No glaze. But now I feel like nowadays, if you look forward to people giving you subs, I feel like it destroys the point. You can do sub goals, but you shouldn't like encourage people. Please sub up. Please sub up. Please. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that though. I don't think that's the proper way to do it. But that's just my opinion though. That's my opinion.
Streamer. So I'm going to play you guys the XQC clip first, and then we're going to get into it.
A way for the people to survive. People that had small communities would do subathons so they could make ends meet and have enough money to survive and keep streaming it. It would make them enough money to survive for a few months so they could. That's how subathons work. So back in my shoes, that's what it was. And then I know for a fact that everybody's making ball money, crazy money on ads, and then everybody starts doing subathons, whatever, which they're clearing. They go, oh guys, yeah guys, 20,000 subs, guys, that's 100K a month. Guys, that's 100K a month. Not really talking or feeling that that's how much they make a day on ads. So like, it's a weird duality. That, oh dude, we're celebrating 100K a month, whatever. We're clearing 100K a day on ads. Yeah,
this is a really good point that he made that I didn't think about. And I do remember a couple of streamers that I was familiar with 7 to 8 years ago that were, or at least, 6 to 7 years ago, that were running this or trying to run this. Now there's this odd, not a no man's land, but there's like this gap in between streaming for fun and casually for maybe a couple hours a day on your free time to streaming full time. And to cross this gap, it takes more hours, especially if you've already built a sizable, and by sizable, let's just say like 50 to 100 viewers at the time, which people will consider nothing now, but that's a significant.
Bro, 50 to 100 views is a lot now. No, not now. I think right now it's not a lot, but for me, 50 to 100 views is a lot. Like I feel like streaming. I don't. Obviously, people want to make money off streaming. Even me, obviously one day I want to start making money off streaming. Cause right now, let me tell you guys, I'm not making anything off streaming. Cause you guys see my views, and my average views is not high. Like it's below 10, of course. So I'm not making any money, but I would be happy with just 50 to 100 views. I just want people who like are here for me, like a solid fan base and community, a Saiyan fan base and community. So we go together, work hard together, be Super Saiyans together. I just want the Saiyan fan base. Yeah, I literally want that. I want people who wanna be part of the Saiyan fan base. That's what I want. Cause yeah, I just want a community to talk to and build and grow together. That's all I ever wanted and all I'll ever do. That's why I stream. I stream for fun. I stream cause it makes me happy. I'm passionate in it. That's why I stream.
Viewership that are watching you consistently for hours a day, it's not a joke. And in order to be able to stream more, you need more time. But if you've got a full-time job, then you can't stream more. So there becomes this weird scenario where some people may move back home, some people may have roommates and have money saved up. But what XQC is saying is that a lot of people would do, or certain streamers, they would run a subathon. So with the subathon, it gives incentives for their community to support more. They're like, hey, we're going to run this subathon, or they'll have a goal. Usually they would have a goal. Like, for example, if people wanted to go on a trip, this was more common. If people wanted to see a streamer, let's say somebody liked a streamer and they were like, man, we really like when this guy goes out in the world, interacts with people, things like that. So we want to fund them, right? We want to see them go to
This DG's Heraton. Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, this is where he made the Blame the Chat album. Now this was a dope. How long was it? Was it 7 days? This was a dope. Oh my gosh, these were dope streams. I don't know what's up with my English. These were dope streams. This was a dope stream. He had the baby. He had, who else did he have? Did he have Gunna? I don't think Gunna was it. I know he had the baby. He had Bia. Yeah. These were dope streams. They were dope streams.
different location. Then the person would say, okay, like, let's have a goal. And they'd have a meter on the stream on the bottom right somewhere, and it would be like, oh, this trip is going to cost $2,500. And every time someone donates or something like that, it adds up to the meter of the bar. So people are contributing to content that they want to see. It's almost like, you know how they have those Kickstarters where somebody wants a product, but they already have the plans for the product, but they don't have the funds to create the product or to have the product manufactured. So people will buy it ahead of time and they will use that money, and then they will kind of like kickstart the company that way. So there was this, and there was also the gaming version of it where certain games have different servers, and people are like, well, if you want to see me play on this other server,
Never mind. I feel like the reason why people beg for subs now, it's not even begging, it's just roll calls. Like, people need to do roll calls. I'm just thinking about it now in my head. I'm like, oh nah, I don't look at it as begging no more. If you do roll calls, isn't it still the same as asking for subs? So that means every streamer begs for subs. You feel me? So yeah, I think it's just the modern day Twitch right now.
other country for a month, then, it's going to cost this much. And everybody was like kind of happy about this. But the subathon would allow for not just trips, but it would allow for an injection of cash to sustain the streamer for, hell, it could be the next months, it could be the next year. And this would be a lot of hype for the streamer because subs meant a lot. Especially if you're a couple hundred viewers, or let's say 150 viewers. The example that we're going to look at was 115 viewers. And this streamer, her name is Widow, and she is a Rocket League streamer. And I think she encapsulates perfectly what XQC is talking about, because she said, been seeing a lot of conversation after Moist Critical posted his Twitch earnings about how being a full time on Twitch has only ever been if you're that size. By that size, they mean several thousand viewers. And if you weren't several thousand viewers, you couldn't be full time on Twitch. I knew that this was true. I didn't know how it worked financially, because I knew streamers that had anywhere under 500 viewers, but I would say at least 150. Girls, they would be able to sustain with less. For guys, I would say they would usually have to average. I've seen guys from 400 plus. I would say 400 plus, 125 to 150 plus for girls. It just works that way because it's a male-dominated platform, way more so in the past. So
Yeah,
males,
yeah.
they're gonna donate.
There are very few Twitch streamers. I want there to be more girl Twitch streamers. There are very few Twitch streamers. I think I only know a handful of Twitch streamers who are girls. There's Senna, Valkyrie, Pokimane, Mari, Yona. Now that's six. Maya Buckets. I mean, big Twitch streamer girls. Wendy. Is that it? Deja. Yeah, I think that's eight. Eight Twitch streamer girls that are big now. That number needs to skyrocket. We need more girls in there, because the ratio to men to girls is just too dominated for real.
To the girl more. There's barely any girls on the platform. That's just how it works. That's not to say that they're not generous to the males as well, but it skews that way. We don't got to talk about how, we don't got to get into that. But she says, so here's my earnings at my peak. And this girl was nowhere near as big as Moist Critical in popularity. My only uncapped subathon in 2022 and both years of my 2-year challenge. So here she shows her
So you're
redathon in
telling me
2022 and
if
both
she averaged 134 views, and that equivalented to her getting $17,000 for that month. Only $17,000. No, that's actually huge for the amount of people she's averaging. So if she averaged more, oh, that's crazy. That's actually new to someone like me, cause I don't know. That's crazy. Damn, I guess we have to aim to average like 100 viewers, but that means we have to be having like 500 people watching. Right now, we mostly the highest we've had is 7 max views. I think we'll just grow as time goes. As time goes, we'll grow. We'll just keep growing. I think definitely by the end of the year, we'll be having chatters in the chat. Definitely, that's my goal, to be having chatters in the chat. Definitely, at least have by 3 average viewers. Like so that our Saiyan community keeps growing. That's the goal.
years of my 2-year challenge. So here she shows her revenue for 26 days from April 27th of 2022 to May 22nd of 2022. And you can see that she made $17,412 in that month on 134 average viewers. And you can see the bars. So on the bottom it says paid subs, gifted subs. Paid subs are all the way on the bottom. So paid subs did not make much at all of her revenue. Gifted subs made a ton. You can see that gigantic bar, and it shows how many followers she gained and the hours that she streamed. So 576 hours. That makes sense. It was a subathon. She's probably live the entire time. And then she also shows 2020. So in 2020, that year, 366 days from January to December 31st, she made $65,866 and
What?
20,000 subscriptions, most of which were gifted. You see that big dark purple bar. And she also
What? Wait, what's the difference though? The difference. This is less than what she had last time. These are average views than what she had last time. How is she at 65,000 now? Oh, this is from January to October. Oh, January to December. Bro, I was wondering. I thought this was a month. I was like, how did that change? But damn, that's crazy.
Also got what looks like cheers. Cheers are like subs, and 100, they're not like subs. They are like a donation, but you buy these things on Twitch, the platform, and you can like send them in. And this is on 130 average viewers. And then she showed 2021, where she made 85,000. So she made between 2020 to 2022, she made like over 130,000 in revenue. It's not profit, with 114 average viewers. But also, it's important to calculate the hours that she streamed. Like, she streamed a lot of hours, but let's just take the 85,000, 1427 hours in that year. So she was getting paid about $60 an hour to stream, which is a lot of hours streamed. Some people say, well, I'll just do that for fun. But she continues and says, I also made $68,000 in donations between 2020 to 2023, not accounted for here. So the subs have to be shared with Twitch, but if somebody donates directly to her, then it's not shared with Twitch. I had less than 50K followers and averaged less than 140 viewers most of the time, but I had consistency and a great community. And this goes to show like 80.
That's what I'm trying to build, a great community. I want to build a strong community. So anyone who pops up in the chat and wants to be part of my community that we're gonna build, just let me know. Type in the chat. Go tap into my Discord. That's on my Twitch profile. You all see it there. Go to my Discord. Yeah. And if you watch my videos on YouTube, go to the community and click the link on the Discord. Definitely, we need to grow our community before the year ends. I want to make sure that at least we have something before the year ends, even if it's 5 people in the community, 6. But I want it to be 5 and 6 consistent people. I'll be happy with it. That will make my year. That will be all I want for Christmas. Literally, only 5 and 6. That's what That's where my limit is. But if more keep coming, that would be perfect for me. But yeah, let's just grow. I just want us to grow together as a family. Cause once you come here, just know you're a family. Whatever you guys needs are, that also my needs. Anything I need to help, I'll help. I just want us to grow as a community. Let's get it.
20 principle. It was clearly 20% of the community that gifted the subs. Most likely, the people that gifted the subs were also already paid subs of their own. Making it full-time on Twitch is not unattainable, but it is hard, and I do not envy anyone who has to start now. I didn't have to multi-stream then. I didn't have to post everywhere all the time, but I streamed 8 to 16 hours every day for a long time on average. 2-0, 2-5, 2-10, 250, 2-100. I'm not saying this is for everyone, but I am shutting down the idea that you can only live your dream if you have 1 million followers or come from YouTube. I think this was a great example that this girl gave, because this shows what XQC is talking about with subathons. Without subathons, without gifted subs, this girl would not have been able to sustain herself, because you look at the ad revenue, it's non-existent. But when you look at Charlie or Moist Critical's ad revenue screenshot, you can see that it made up the majority of it.
That is 4 million. 4,158,749 dollars. That is crazy. And just stream for 6 hours. Is that 6 hours? You would wait, is my eyes fine? You're telling me she made 4 million. 4 million. Is that 4 million? 4 million off of 6 hours of streaming. That's diabolical. That is diabolical. That's diabolical. Oh, it's the whole year. 1,000. Okay, now 1,000 days is acceptable. I'm thinking it's only 6 hours. I keep looking at the time streamed.
When XQC talks about subathons are whack now, because it's like, how are we, and especially after the curtain has been pulled, how is somebody going to be hype for 100,000 when people think like, okay, 100,000 subs, that's like 500 G's or 600 G's. Well, you might get your 300 G's, right? A lot of people didn't even know about sub splits, but let's just say they knew about sub splits between Twitch and the streamer. They're like, okay, 350K. But is it really hype if, like XQC said you guys are making 100K a day on the ads because they're getting such high viewership, like 10, 20, 30K viewers on average during the day. So you're making all of your money on ads. You're making way more money. So what's the point of the person contributing? It's almost like I don't think many people would have an issue subbing or gifting subs, but but you're so big already that you're making the subathon doesn't make sense at that point, because it's like you're already got a huge bag. And this is also why like Kai Cenat is just an absolute demon on a tear, because you've got FaZe, which is what, 5+ people, and collectively they can't even, or they have not even hit what Kai Cenat hit on his own. And some people will say, well, Kai Cenat had the help of corporations, and Kai Cenat did it in September when Valorant was matching every 5 gifted subs with a sub of their own. So that really helped him out. But still, what he did was impressive. But yeah, like Kai Cenat, and the frequency with which these top streamers are running ads, and I wouldn't say top streamers in general, because many don't run crazy amount of ads, and I don't have a problem with them running a crazy amount of ads. But like a Kai Cenat or these FaZe guys,
I won't lie, if I'm not sustainable, would I run crazy ads? Of course. Like, I'm just a real nigga. I'm gonna keep it real. I would run sustainable ads. But if I'm at the top at like Kai's Net, I'm not running sustainable ads. I also have to think of the point of my viewers. Like, are my viewers really happy? I don't wanna stream knowing that people who watch me are not happy. You feel me? I wanna be able to bond with my viewers. If I'm running crazy ads and my viewers keep hitting ads, and I have to remember that not everyone has money to sub. You feel me? So yeah, if I'm up there, definitely not running any ads, any crazy ads. Probably I'll run like 3 to 5 ads, and that's probably for an 8-hour stream. That's decent. For a 3-hour stream, probably 2 ads, maybe. Yeah. But that's if I'm on the top. If I'm right now, who I'm struggling to even get 50 views, I would run crazy ads. But that's just me. No, fine. No, wait. I'm backtracking that. That's very wrong. I shouldn't do that. Because I'm trying to keep followers and views. Nah, never mind. Forget what I said. I sometimes, yeah, with my head sometimes.
running a lot of ads and they're making a lot of money. So the only real appeal to the subathon is, okay, like we know that there's going to be nonstop fun, I guess, during this month that they're going to run it. And the thing is, when it used to be uncapped, people didn't know how long the subathon was going to last for. That was part of the excitement, where you were like, well, this subathon could be 2 days, it could be 20 days, it could be 30 days. When they're talking about like, oh, we're going to run our subathon on this month, they're telling you that it's going to run for a month, and they're preparing for it to run for a month. So the unpredictability is no longer there. You know when it's going to end. You know they're not going to keep it running, because realistically, if these guys ran a real deal uncapped subathon, their audience would keep them live with how big they are for months. They wouldn't be able to get off live. And you've already got people that are breaking down in the FaZe subathon because they just can't handle it. And I don't blame them. I'm not saying like, yo, it's easy, you can handle that. I have always been saying that streaming is way harder than any other form of content creation. It is the hardest form of content creation, even if you're just sitting there and gaming, if it is your main gig. Like Moist Critical, I think he was saying, oh, it's so easy, I just play games, because it's never been his main revenue source. Like for this girl that was averaging 100 and something viewers, I know for a fact it was difficult for her. Not only just growing it, but the fact that this is all you have. Like this is your revenue stream. You have to go live. If that girl took 2 weeks off, her revenue would plummet 60 to 70%, because so many of the subs won't roll over. She won't stream. And there's also the opportunity cost of the growth in community and the gifts and the money that she could have made for those 2 weeks that she didn't stream and took a break. So it's very, very tough. And a lot of streamers, I don't know if she's talked about this, but a lot of streamers have talked about that are smaller. They're like, yo, we get stuck in this game. But also the ads, the revelation of the ads really takes me back to a time when, and it wasn't only Trainwrecks doing this. I think he might have kicked it off. But there was a time when Trainwrecks, who is the highest paid streamer ever, He would just hop on stream and watch Gordon Ramsay. I think he's watched every single episode of everything Gordon Ramsay ever. And this was before his gambling arc. And he did this for a year straight, or maybe even longer. And 8 to 10 hour streams, maybe even 12 hours a day. And to think he was averaging anywhere from 10 to 20K viewers then, the ads that were running, it's crazy. Like running ads, watching someone else's content. I don't even.
It's crazy how that was the highest amount of views back then. Right now it's Kai. Kai averages like 100K. That's crazy. Imagine, it just shows the evolution. Maybe we'll get to the point where someone will be averaging 500K. It's just evolution. As we grow, things evolution practically.
Want to know how much money he made during those years. I think it's better off for my mental health that I keep it sane. Like, otherwise, I'm going to lose my mind in this basement. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. I'm glad that
What I think about this, I feel like XQC is right. I feel like people who are up there and are running a high amount of ads, like keep running, and you're like at the Kai Knight level, the Jason the Win level, the DG level, the Playboy Max level. If you're up there and you know you're making sufficient amount of money that doesn't require for you to run ads and you're running ads, I feel like that's not good for your views. Like, yeah, most people won't watch you if you're like that. That's why some people have a lot of views because they don't run a high amount of ads. You feel me? But also, if you're a real supporter, even if they're running a amount of ads, you be there. But I feel like, yeah, it doesn't. You're not feeling what the person who cannot sub is feeling. You feel me? Yeah, you're scaring away people who can't sub, because there's some people who can't afford to sub. Like me right now, I can't afford to be subbing to any streamers, even though I'm a streamer. You feel me? Yeah. So I feel like that's very inconsiderate to people who cannot afford subs, even though other people give subs. But yeah, I remember when I was young, I've been in, what is it, in chats, and I've never been gifted a sub, even though I was typing. I've never been gifted a sub. So what am I gonna be doing? Watching ads for the rest of my life? Ads flowing like this, watching ads for the rest of my life? No. So I feel like I do agree with XQC. People who are up there should not be running a high cost of ads. XQC was right. Thank you for this reaction. Yeah.